You know, after trophy hunting for a while, you start to get a feel for what games will give you trophies for before you even start the game. Things like story progression are a given, but there's generally also things for like maxing out skill trees or getting all collectibles. That is to say, things that generally take quite a bit of time to get. But that's not always true. Sometimes you get trophies without needing to do much at all. Sometimes you get trophies for just starting the game, which I've always been against personally. Don't reward me for doing nothing, reward me for doing something. This got me to thinking, what is the most common type of first trophy? An interesting question to be sure, but one that is insanely broad left on its own. So we'll shoot for a bit smaller right now. How about, what's the first trophy to get in a single series? In this case, one of my favourites, the Mass Effect series. But first, I'll quickly get some things out of the way. First, these are all played on a PS4 Pro because I don't want to buy the games again to do it on anything newer like my discless PS5. Please release a disc drive that anyone can use for it. And obviously we've got to use the same console for loading screen related reasons. This also means I'll be using the Legendary Edition versions of each game, which do have less trophies than the original releases, but I don't think it will really matter for this video. Second, there will be a timer on screen the whole time I'll be showing my gameplay, so you know how long has passed, and so I don't need to keep saying, at this point, this amount of time has passed. You second monitor guys will have to look at the screen to see the timer. A small glance will do. Next, we're doing all of these on the easiest difficulty because that's the fastest obviously, and a perfectly valid way to play the game if you so choose. But because we want to see how quick the game will give you trophies on a somewhat standard playthrough, I'm not going to skip through the cutscenes and let them play normally because you wouldn't skip on a first playthrough. Unless you're one of those weirdos that is allergic for having context for what you're doing and then complains that they're lost on GameFAQs. Yes, playing on easy is nothing to be ashamed of, but skipping cutscenes in an RPG absolutely is. I'll die on that hill, sure why not. Small tangent out the way, let's start this little exercise with... Our journey begins the same way any good journey does, by staring out of a window while other people talk about how cool we are. A Top Gun reference then happens and we join the lads bantering in the cockpit area. They seem distrustful of this insect-looking man for some reason. I get it, I too am suspicious when someone compliments me. Like, what's your angle here, guy? My chronic trust issues to one side, Shepard is called to the headmaster's office where he finds that guy from earlier. His name's Nihilus, by the way. Captain Anderson is here as well, who Shepard has a, let's say, complicated history with. After a big old chat that is actually a lot shorter than I remember it being, they're sent a video from some vloggers who happen to be on Eden Prime's surface. Unsure of the veracity of the video, the gang is sent down to the planet to investigate. I begin my trek the same way any good soldier does, by going in the complete wrong direction. After getting my bearings, Jenkins is gunned down by drones we couldn't possibly have avoided. Sorry Jenkins, maybe check those corners next time. Side note, I did scour the trophy list for a way to beat this challenge without Jenkins dying. It is possible, but would have took way longer than what I ended up doing due to power recharge times, so sorry Jenkins, even this kind of run can't save you. After mourning him for a whole no seconds, we progressed a bit further, shooting down some drones before discovering a new species. Woman. After linking up with the character that had 12-year-old me round her little finger, we kill a few Geth, some blue abominations, and then find out that Saren was the imposter the whole time. Are Among Us jokes still funny? I really hope so. After a few more kills, we meet the most motivated supermarket worker who tells us that Blue was sus and that the beacon was a little bit further in. We ride this monorail. I swear this Geth in this cutscene was not always white, defuse some bombs with no issue, and finally reach the beacon. Ashley almost gets to be the main character when Shepard, feeling threatened, yeets her out of the way to see the bad trip himself. I guess his brain was just too big though, because he ends up destroying the beacon, knocking himself unconscious in the process. After the fade out though, the beacon also gave Shepard a trophy in 24 minutes and 17 seconds. Or thereabouts. In my old age, I couldn't figure out the timer. It's fine, it will happen again. After that whole shebang on Eden Prime, the team figured they need to get us some medical attention, but really Shepard's just trying to catch up on his sleep. He stayed up till 4 AM to watch E3 the night before and failed his exams in the process. Who would do such a thing? Couldn't be me. His peaceful slumber doesn't last long though, as the Normandy comes under attack by an unidentified spacecraft. In his groggy state, Shepard mistakes a crew member for one of those blue aliens from the videos that he swears are educational. After sending them on his way, Shepard realizes his best friend isn't in the escape pod and goes to get him. Yes, he might be a bit too knowledgeable about human and robot reproduction for it to just be a hobby, but he's still our friend, damn it. After a short walk, we reach the cockpit, where Joker is frantically trying to download his saved videos to a USB drive. Disgusted and slightly intrigued by Joker's fetishes, Shepard drags him out to the nearest escape pod, tells him to watch his videos online like a hip modern kid, and even recommends that he subscribes to the Trofun YouTube channel. Before he can escape himself though, another blast launches him into the expanses of space where, due to multiple suit punctures from the myriad of sharp objects that Space TSA did not confiscate when boarding the Normandy, he slowly succumbs and becomes just another piece of debris, drifting the eternal nothingness that is space. After Shepard's final vision, a final hope of perhaps surviving, he gets a trophy in 9 minutes and 9 seconds. Following on from Commander Shepard's untimely space nap, we cut to the one person that doesn't believe that this was space pirates or an asteroid or whatever else the official reports have to say. His sister, Commander Shepard 2, who had been forbidden from leaving Earth or investigating her brother's murder. I'm sorry, what I meant to say was accidental death. Yeah, sure buddy, whatever you say. In fact, how are you even here? It's almost like you knew about the incoming attack and stayed off the Normandy to save your own hide. What do you think of that, Kaidan? No wonder no one ever saves you on Virmire, you boring turncoat. After making Kaidan and both of his fans cry, Shepard is called into a disciplinary meeting by the head of state, and much like most actual disciplinary meetings, they've already made up their mind and won't listen to anything that Shepard has to say. Luckily for the human government, they are interrupted before Shepard can throw a chair at them. Unluckily for the human government, what interrupted them was this skyscraper-high crab robot. This is what the powers that be were trying to hide. The beacon on Eden Prime had given the male Commander Shepard too much knowledge on the secret behind-the-scenes machinations of the Human Council, and for that, he had to be eliminated. In doing so, the humans had unleashed something they couldn't control. With one laser beam, the human elites were wiped out, leaving the only 2 military-trained personnel in the room still breathing. Alongside her ex-boyfriend Captain Anderson, Shepard heads out to try and escape from the really expensive and pretty epic robot and whatever human assassins that may come and try and silence them. After killing a couple of unethical experiments, our brave commander comes across the one thing that would shake even the most hardened of soldiers. A rebellious preteen who thinks he'll be safer hiding in the air vents from the giant crab robot than with 2 military-trained professionals. I hate escort missions, so this is fine with me. See ya kid, you're on your own. Anderson decides to come clean to Shepard about everything. Her brother's assassination, the top secret research the government was conducting, that he did in fact eat the last Snickers bar 3 years ago when he said he didn't. Shepard now knew all of it. Who could she trust? She didn't know. So when they came across 2 seemingly injured humans, Shepard didn't help them. She no longer wanted to heal anything. She just wanted to hurt. She wanted to burn it all to the ground. Equipping some incendiary rounds, Commander Shepard took her anger out on the seemingly endless horde of monsters in her vicinity. It was almost as if she needed to follow some on-screen instruction to make them stop coming at her, but this was fine. After 100 scorched corpses, she finally got a trophy in 17 minutes and 37 seconds. But the carnage doesn't stop when the timer does. It's never ending, like a very long dream. Ryder has been having these weird thoughts lately. Like, is any of this for real or not? After awakening from her centuries-long afternoon nap, all dark thoughts briefly exit her mind as she needs to get down to business. After realizing checking on her brother was apparently optional, I changed course. After all, Shepard's brother is dead, right? I mean, Ryder's brother? Split personality aside, we have to fix something that broke. Probably wasn't a good idea to get this ship from Wish, or Temu, or whatever the next thing is. We eventually meet up with dear old dad. He claims that these dreams are just that, dreams, and that Ryder should forget about them and focus on her new home. Now, Ryder never wanted to move in the first place, but Dad's work always comes first. After a really long shuttle ride that once again I can't do anything during, Thor the God of Thunder apparently did not appreciate us as his new neighbor and blasted us out of the sky. Taking it to be a free skydiving lesson, Ryder reaches the ground and after surveying the beautiful landscape decides that yeah, she'll be alright here, and earns a trophy in 21 minutes and 28 seconds. Despite settling down on an interesting new home though, Ryder's dreams have not ceased. This one, a continuation of the previous dream. More killing these endlessly spawning mooks, the screams doing wonders for her psyche. After slaughtering 250 of the poor buggers, Shepard, or maybe Ryder, gets her final trophy of the video in 22 minutes and 38 seconds. So what did we learn from this exercise? Well, we learned that Mass Effect 2 gives you a trophy fastest and Mass Effect 1 takes the longest. I personally learned that Mass Effect 1's opening is a lot shorter than I remember it being. For some reason, I remember the Normandy section taking absolutely bloomin' ages. But no, even after watching cutscenes and dialogue, it's not significantly longer than any of the other games. Mass Effect 2 and Andromeda also give you trophies for completing their prologues, which I'm not happy about. There's no combat, ergo no challenge, ergo I should not be being rewarded for this. These trophies should have an 100% collection rate. They don't, which I guess means people open up the game and then look at the title screen and then close it, never to open it again. I will never understand that. Andromeda especially feels like it takes forever to get going, though it is the game I've played the least, so it's entirely possible I just didn't remember it as well as some of the others. Now, the Mass Effect 3 part of the video may be controversial as the first trophy was not story related like the others. To be completely honest, it was an accident. I 100% thought it would be the story one, and in fact I've even recorded the footage for it, but as you can see here, it's already past the time for setting 100 enemies on fire, which I found out while going for the Legendary Edition's 4th trophy list trophy by complete chance. Wasn't planned at all. I actually had to redo parts of the script because of it. If I had skipped through dialogue, it may have been faster to just end the level, but even then I think there's some scenes you can't skip, so maybe not. I'll leave that one for a viewer to check though if they're bothered, because I most certainly am not. And that's the video. Were you surprised about any of these, or was it pretty much what you expected? Let me know all that and more in the comments, and while you're down there, why not subscribe? It's free, helps me out, and gives you easier access to my videos, both old and new. Oh, and if you liked it, press like on it so I know and I can make more similar videos, and maybe even give me other series to do this same format with. I tried something a little different with this one, so feedback is actually much appreciated. Thank you for watching. For now though, I'm off. Hunt them tropes, and I'll see you next time.